Hello everybody, how you doing? Happy Sunday. Mrs. Spielberg's not here today, so we got filling in is the man, the legend, the one and only cameraman who travels all over the world with me. He's always got a lens for you, is Dario. Say hello, Dario.
Hey everybody.
Oh, look at you. Hey everybody, hey everybody. Today I want to take on shrimp. I absolutely love shrimp. But all too often when we go out, shrimp are dry. Remember, it's a mussel and they have a tendency to dry. So what I want to do today is teach you a different method of cooking shrimp and some little tips and tricks that your shrimp, every time you have them, will be juicy, will be succulent, will be sweet. Isn't that marvellous? Aren't you glad I'm not like Freddie Mercury? The camera would all be full of saliva. I want to bake brie. What do you think, Dario? The good thing about working with Dario is Mrs. Spielberg would just put me in the place and say, shut up, John, just carry on. Okay, let's talk about shrimp. I love shrimp. Why I like shrimp is because if you think about it, it's one of those proteins you can have in the freezer, you can bring it out, run it under some cool water, and within 10 minutes, it's ready to be cooked. I always buy shrimp in the shell, so you can see that the shrimp's in the shell. When it comes to measuring shrimp, you might see different sizes. So say for instance 21 to 26, that means you get 21 to 26 of those per pound. You might see U15, which are the big ones. That means under 15 of them per pound. So when we look at them, we're looking to use for this recipe a large or a jumbo shrimp. Okay, so with the shrimp, what we want to do is always buy them in the shell. That protects the protein. When you buy shrimp, always look at the ingredients. You want to buy shrimp where the ingredients is just shrimp, not no sodium or none of those ingredients that you can't even pronounce. It sounds like a Welsh village. Do you like that one? I crack myself up. I'm not even drinking. It's 10 o'clock in the morning when we're filming this. Stinks. Okay, look, I want to show you how to peel shrimp. Come on in, Dario. See, if we start at the back. This is the front. This is where he swims. Oh, here we go. So what we want to do is start at the back. See, always start at the back. It's the best way. Coming around, and then peeling that off. Now I've got another bowl here. I'm going to show you what to do. Let me show you again what we do, Dario, if that's okay. I'm going to take the shrimp, starting at the back. You can see someone's deveined these, but I want to show you something else that's important with shrimp that you may not know. Just peeling it off. When we get to here, Dario, take the tails off. Never serve shrimp. One of my pet peeves, Dario, is you go to a restaurant and they serve it with the tail on. And you're there, you're having a lovely conversation. You've had maybe a martini, something like that. Or if you're in Greece, some ouzo. And you're there and you're having it and you go to take a bite and all of a sudden you're there and then you've got to do the napkin trick. So just take the shell off and all we have to do is just pinch that, Dario. See? Pinching it, just pinch it. Just pinch it at the end. Can you see I'm trying to get close for you? And you can see that we've pulled it out. Now with the shrimp, Dario, we always know about taking, see there, you can see that this has been deveined, but I want to show you something else. When you get the larger shrimp, look underneath. Can you see that vein, Dario?
Yeah, I see.
Now that, oh, you are alive. Now if Mrs. Spielberg was here, she'd be talking to me, Dario, because you know I get lonely if you don't talk to me. If you can see here, Dario, look, this piece here is actually fibrous. So when we have it, so just come under the underneath of it. See that I'm using my knife and just pull that out. I'm telling you, this is a game changer. You want to remove that from here because that vein, it's almost like a piece of thread. You know what your Auntie Dot used to make your jumpers with? So you want to pull that out, just removing it. Let me show you it again, Dario. Can you see? I just want to show twice. I like to show twice. Can you see that? We just want to remove it. So I'm just taking a small knife, cutting down, just to cut it down a little bit, and then I'm just going to pull it out. Now, I know you see these infomercials for these removers. They never seem to blooming work, if you ask me. I always just use my little knife, just pulling that out. And that's a game changer just by doing that with the large shrimp. So always check the underneath. So we've got our shrimp prepared. They're happy days. Now here's a game changer. Here's something you've never seen before. I don't think so anyway. We're gonna brine the shrimp. And you're thinking, what? Brine the shrimp? What? Are you kidding me? What? Was that dramatic enough? Was it too dramatic? Okay, we're going to brine the shrimp and don't make me get pus on you. Oh, we're going to brine the shrimp. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do, Dario, is brine the shrimp. And you're thinking, why would you brine shrimp? Remember, just like chicken breast, just like, anything that's, not next to the bone, we want something to keep it juicy. Remember, when we have brine, it goes into the protein and keeps it juicy. So what we want to do for this brine, really simple. This is called the 3, 2, 1. You ready again? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. And you remember this, and why I do this for you is so you remember, because I use this brine with salmon as well. When we have salmon, when you cook it, once it starts getting towards 135 to 140 Fahrenheit, you start seeing all the white stuff coming out. How to stop salmon from going dry is to use the 3, 2, 1 method. So what we're gonna do is 3 tablespoons of salt, Dario, 2 tablespoons of sugar. This adds sweetness. That shrimp will be nice and sweet. 4 cups, which is 1 quart of water. 3, 2, 1. And I keep on repeating it. And why I keep repeating it is so you remember 3 salt, 2 sugar, 1 quart of water, which is 4 cups. Give this a whisking. You can use this on any of your chicken, your shellfish. It always works perfect. 3, 2, 1. Next time I see you, we bump into each other. 3, 2, 1. Whisking it around. The shrimp, Dario, all this takes is 15 minutes. That's all it takes to do. So 15 minutes, this will be the most succulent shrimp you've ever had in your life. I'm just going to place them to one side. I don't really need to place these in the fridge. Some people will say place it in the fridge, but we're going to be cooking it in a minute, so I don't need to. Okay, what I thought we would do today, normally we go over to the stove, but I thought actually we'll cook here on a little stove. So I've got my little electric burner, which my induction burner by Waring, who we love. We're going to bring this across to the center. So, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to show you, a lot of the times we think we've got to have the fancy ranges and all the fancy tools. We don't need that. Cooking is just about you getting in the kitchen and just having a heat source. So I'm going to take a pan. Now what we're going to do is make a shrimp stock. A shrimp stock is very powerful. When we think about chicken stocks, it normally takes 2 to 3 hours to make. A shrimp stock can be done in 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes. Let me grab some fresh thyme from the fridge. And it takes 5 minutes. Dario, are you still there?
I'm still here, Dan.
Are you sure you're still there? It's Tony. It's Tony. We have this character with me and Dario, where whenever we're cooking Italian food, he becomes this guy called Tony, don't you? If you can, always wrap your herbs in a moist towel. See the way I've wrapped them in a moist towel? That keeps them alive, okay? So I've got a couple of sprigs of fresh thyme from the garden. Thyme's wonderful because it survives in the frost. When it comes to summertime, we'll be doing outdoor segments, so we'll bring you outside and we'll have a laugh. We'll be grilling together. I'm not sure of that move. It's more like surfing together, isn't it? Okay, so what we're going to do now is make this shrimp stock really, really easy. Never throw away your shells. Even if you're not making the shrimp stock, they freeze really well. This stock can be used for sauces. It can be used for soups. It really is powerful, I promise you. So I'm getting the pan up to a medium-high heat. I'm going to add some olive oil. And what we're going to do, about 2 tablespoons or something like that, Dario. What we're going to do now is brown these. You know, we brown for the Maillard reaction. That browning had lots of flavor, that caramelization of the proteins and the shells. So I'm gonna add the shells. And what we want to do is brown these. I'm gonna grab a wooden spoon. I always use wooden spoons. I prefer them, you know, to cook with. Now what we want to do, Dario, is brown this. This is important to brown because if we brown it, that adds the flavor. And you'll know, you can smell now in the kitchen, we're starting to get that wonderful shellfish smell. And it really is a game changer. Please don't ever throw these away. And for 5 minutes, it's well worth that investment. So we're just browning the shells, just bringing them in there and browning them. See? Can you see the way they're changing color, Dario? Can you see that, mate? See? Just cutting them in there, and I've got them on a hot heat, just getting a bit of color on there. I want to get the bottom of the pan nice and brown, because when the bottom of the pan's nice and brown, that's perfect. Can you see me? Oh my gosh, it's like one of them 1980s MTV videos, you know, where they come in and shock in the heart, you're too late, you make love a bad thing. Oh, Mrs. Spielberg, this is what happens when the cat's away, the mice play. What we're going to do now, Dario, look, I've got a bit of colour on there, okay? Some white wine, a Pinot Grigio would be fine for this. Always, you know, what I always say about cooking with wine is you should always have something that you drink. It doesn't have to be your really posh stuff, but just something you drink. Some fresh thyme. Oh, I'm going to add a bit more wine. About a cup of wine to a cup and a half of wine. Some sprigs of fresh thyme. That's going to infuse it with this beautiful flavour. Now, what we want to do now, Dario, is let this cook for about 5 minutes. If you would for us, you just come into the pan, take a look at this, and then what we'll do is we'll do one of them transitions, and then when it comes out, you'll see the stock. So after about 5 minutes, it's done its job. It's released all its flavor. The studio's got this wonderful shrimp perfume. So please, please, please don't ever throw away the shells. If you haven't got 5 minutes, you can just freeze them in a bag or just make it and freeze the stock. What we're gonna do now is take the stock into a colander and into a bowl, Dario, okay? Into a bowl. What I want to do is just place that there. Press on the shells. Because they've got that U shape, they've got that cavities where the juice, you want to press to extract as much as you can. So just pressing, 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 pressing. Just like that, Dario. Take a look in there for us, if you would, for us, mate. Can you see the way I'm pressing down on the shells? See the way I'm pressing? Just pressing down and getting all of that juice.
Ooh, look at all that juice, yeah.
That's the most he said the whole shoot. Oh, look at all that juice, John. He must be reading off a cue card or something. Okay, I'm just going to pop this in the sink. Dario.
Oh, look at all that juice, John. Next cue card, next cue card.
Next cue card, please. Please, yeah. Next cue card, Dario. It smells really good.
Oh, it smells really good.
Okay, here's your stock here, Dario. Fantastic, honest. The perfume from this, please don't throw away your actual shellfish. Okay, just gonna wipe out the pan, Dario, bit of paper towel. And the reason why I'm wiping it out, I don't need to give it a full clean. I just wanna make sure there's no shell in there. It's okay to have a little bit of bits on a little bit of stuff on the bottom, but no shells. The last thing you want is one of them, because we've all got these good teeth now, haven't we? Not like when I was a kid, because these are made in America. When I was a kid, I used to have gaps in my teeth. You could kick a field goal through them. Okay, so what we want to do, Dario, is chop up some garlic. So I'm going to take some garlic. I've peeled the garlic. I'm just going to take off, see these ends, them little bits, mate? They're pretty inedible, so there's no point in them. So we're just going to peel them off. And when we buy garlic, we always want to squeeze the bulb, make sure it feels quite firm. You know, when you're purchasing it, if it feels hollow, that's a sign that it's old garlic. So you don't want that. Okay, for slicing it, Dario, we're just going to come down and we're just going to slice it relatively thin. Okay, see? Relatively thin. And sliced garlic isn't as strong as minced. The more you chop garlic, the more you mince it, the stronger it gets. You know, because you're mixing the two chemical compounds together. So we're slicing, you'll see in Italian cooking, they use a lot of sliced garlic, but you see in Asian cooking and Indian cooking, you see a lot of minced garlic, which is stronger, but the Italians, so the more you mince it, the stronger the garlic taste. And especially the strongest is on a microplane or a garlic press. That's when the two of them go together, and that's when it's really garlicky. So we're just chopping our garlic, Dario, just like this, just chopping it. Okay, I'm going to take the garlic, and I'm going to take the garlic and just put it back in this container so you can see we've got the garlic. Next thing we're going to do, mate, is bring our stove back, bring our fabulous induction burner back. Normally with Mrs. Spielberg, I'm over on the stove and we're back and forward, but today I want to do it over here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start to make this shrimp dish. So I'm going to add a little bit of oil to the pan, small amount of oil, just to get, you can see the oil. And then what we're going to do, mate, is we're just going to add the garlic. What we're looking for is to get the garlic a little bit golden. A lot of people will cook it too long, and when it goes brown, it gets bitter. Just take a look, Dario. See the way I'm cooking it? You got them thin slices of garlic. Already it's smelling wonderful. Now, I like a little bit of spice, a little bit of chili flake. If you don't like too much spice, don't add any, but I'm just going to add a pinch of chili flake. Not too much, you can always add a bit afterwards, but just to infuse it. The red chili flake's going to get in the oil and it's going to add a lot of taste to it. So we're just adding the chili flake, stirring that around. So we've got it coming together. You can already smell in the studio, it smells fabulous. The flavor now, because remember, we're building layers of flavor here. So what we want to do is that stock. See the stock, Dario? Just take one more look in there for us, mate. Can you see the way it's brown in the garlic? But it's not burnt. Going to add the stock. And then what we're also going to do here, Dario, is add some tomato sauce, your marinara sauce, or some crushed tomatoes. Or if it's summertime, just take some tomatoes out your garden and dice those up. It's winter at the moment, so we haven't got good tomatoes. So I'm just taking some of my favorite tomato sauce, and I'm just going to do it. If you want to purchase a marinara sauce, I will say Rayo's does an impeccable job. I really love Rayo's. I think it's superb, and it's easy for you to just grab a jar and to do it. So what we want to do now, Dario, see here, is the shrimp. I took them out of the brine and I've dried them. You can see that we've got those, Dario. So it's with it. So what I want to do now, Dario, is this is going to be a poaching liquid. Normally when we cook shrimp, normally what we do with them is we sear them. When we sear them, they go so tight and they lock up and they start to curl and curl. Looks like they're doing some sort of yoga move. They curl up and they're like, oh, I'm down here. And it's so tight. Whereas when we're, oh God, I hope I didn't show me plumber's crack. It's getting bigger as I get older, to be honest. My pants are fitting me like OJ's glove. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add the shrimp. So this is poaching. This, my friends, listen, is a game changer. This is going to change your shrimp completely from anything you've ever had before. Everybody's always taught you how to sear shrimp. Poaching shrimp is the way to go. Absolute game changer. Now you're saying to yourself, how long do you poach this for? These take about 3 to 5 minutes. Depending on the size of your shrimp, it could be 2 to 4 minutes, but about 3 to 5. What I want to do is put the tray on top or put a lid on top. Let these just simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes until they're opaque. Once they're opaque, you will know that they're done. So take a look, Dario, at them now. Can you see the way they're pink? I see the way they're grey. Yep. In about 3 to 5 minutes, when you pick up that shot again, they're going to be totally different, okay? After about 5 minutes, you'll notice that the shrimp has nicely poached. Take a look. Can you see that, Dario? Yeah. They've poached beautifully. Ooh. Now listen, I want to clarify here. I used my mini baking sheet, my rimmed baking sheet. At home, please use a lid. I just want you to be safe, just in case you touch it and it's hot. This is the lid I use, Dario. See this? It fits many different sizes of pans, so it's really convenient. I use this one. And not only that, when it comes to Halloween, you can be Captain America. That was bad. Sorry. I hope it doesn't make it into the shoot. Okay, let's move this off to one side. I'm just going to move this off to one side. And what I'm going to do here, I love this rusticness. Do you, Dario?
Oh, I love it.
You know what I like about it is that you can actually relate to it. You're not using any fancy dishes. So look, I'm going to remove the shrimp. I'm using a slotted spoon, but I'm also putting them into a colander. So I'm just removing them and I'm just using that slotted spoon because we're going to reduce this sauce and concentrate it, Dario. But what I want to show people is how you can take it to different countries. Because what we like to do on the show is not just show you a technique. We like to show you how you can get creative in your kitchen, how you can be the Christopher Columbus, oh there I am there, of your palate. Coming out the shrimp, look at the way they're juicy. You can see that they're still chubby and they're fabulous. Now, if I left them in the sauce, what would happen, Dario?
I don't know. You tell me, John.
If I left them in the sauce, they keep cooking and they keep going tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And eventually they'd be like, ah! Whereas we want to bring them out, they're perfectly cooked just before. Once we've adjusted the sauce, then we know where it's at. Let me just grab a cloth to wipe down because we like to keep everywhere nice and clean. At this stage, Dario, what we want to do is reduce this sauce. Now remember, we had salt in the brine at the start. We want to be careful on our salt levels. Whenever you're reducing a sauce, you see all these chefs always adding salt, salt, salt. I like to finish with salt because if you add salt here and this reduces to here, what's going to happen? It's going to be really salty. So you want to make sure you don't add any salt until you're just about ready. Now take a look at this sauce now, Dario. Can you see its consistency? Can you see that? So it's thin. You know, at the moment now, it's quite thin. What we want to do is reduce that down. That reduction is going to give us a superior taste. If you wanted to take this towards Mexico, add some chipotle seasoning to it. That would be perfect for tacos. This would be great. Some avocado, some shrimp, a chipotle tomato sauce. If you wanted to go towards Italy, you could just add some fresh basil to it. Reggiano Parmesan. Now listen, I know what you're thinking. Don't add cheese with seafood. That's a load of baloney. I'm sticking my flag in the ground. You should add some cheese with seafood if you want to. It's your palate. That's like trying to tell you what wine to drink. It's you. You're the Christopher Columbus. But today we're going to go to Greece. So I'm going to add some dried oregano. Yeah? Dried oregano. When we think about the herbs of Greece, we think about oregano, we think about mint, we think about parsley, we think about dill. But the dill, I'm not going to add them towards the end. If you add the fresh herbs too far in advance, they go yellow, they go grey, they lose some of the character just towards the end. So let's reduce this sauce down, Dario. Take a look in the pot and then we'll come back in a minute. Fantastic. Okay, Dario, can you see the way it's thickened up?
Yeah.
Now listen, I don't want this to go too thin. I want this to be about that thickness because we're going to be serving this with crispy bread. But if you could imagine this now, the shrimp, some fresh basil goes in there, yeah? Happy days. Sound good to you?
Really?
So the shrimp, I'm just going to bring them over. I just covered them with a little bit of foil. You can see the shrimp already. So I'm just going to finish getting the last ingredients before I put them back in. Some fresh dill. I've washed the dill. Feel free to use basil. Feel free to use some, if you wanted some mint in here. You know, if you wanted to do it Mexican, you could use cilantro. you know, in this to make it Mexican themed. I'm showing you one way to do this, which is Greek today, but at home for you, you can do whatever you want. I'm just gonna add a little bit of the dill now so it's infused in the sauce, Dario. Yeah? I'll tell you what I'll do for you, partnership. I'm gonna add some of the dill to it, and then the shrimp. Just look at this, Dario. I'll bring this here so you can see it. See, I'm just infusing the sauce, and I want some to finish it off. The shrimp, I'm gonna bring them back in, reintroduce them back to that beautiful sauce. There's a little bit of stock left. Don't waste that, mate. Now we want that sauce to coat the shrimp. Just coating it nicely. Just take a look in the pan, Dario. Look at the way it's coating them. Can you see? Get in the pan, you monkey. Get in there. Show them what they've got. People don't tune in to see me. They tune in to see this food. Look at the way the shrimp is just coated that beautifully, okay? Now what I like to do at this stage, Dario, is take a taste. See how salty it is. See if it needs some pepper. Have a taste. God. Please. If I was on Judge Judy, she would say to me, John Ashton, you are guilty of making the best shrimp dish known to humankind. It's that good. Before we go, I want to show you how we do this. Listen, a lot of people, what they're doing is they just serve this with some bread. You know, just some bread, Dario. That's bloomin' awful when you do that. Don't do that, please don't do it. I'm gonna grab my old gas burner because I don't have a gas stove. I'm gonna heat it up. So look, I'm gonna take the bread. I'm gonna place the bread on there, Dario. Can you see that?
See it.
Okay, look at what I'm doing. I'm toasting the bread. I'm getting the garlic clove. We're filling our space up here. I'm cutting the garlic clove in half, bit of basil on there, happy days. No, sorry, bit of dill, no worries. Look at the way I'm toasting the bread. Real rustic, it's on the naked flame. That char on there, Dario, you know what that's gonna do?
Make it tasty?
It's carbonizing, because we're carbonizing it now. It's gonna really add a beautiful flavor. Whenever you add bread to something, if you put it out, even with a cheese spread, do this, please, please, please. Otherwise, it's going to be boring. You'll be known as the house what serves boring bread. And the last thing you want to do is serve boring bread. You want to be the place where people say, that's exciting bread at that house. Look, it's toasted. See the way it's got that carbonize on there?
Yeah.
At this stage, that piece of garlic, rub the bread with that piece of garlic, rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it. Do it while it's hot. If you do this when it's cold, it's gonna be when you taste it, it's gonna be too spicy. It's gonna be, ooh, that's a little bit too much for me. Whereas if you do it while it's hot, it's full of flavor. Now listen, Dario, a lot of people don't do this, but you should do this. When you have a piece of bread, what's the first thing that touches your tongue?
The bread?
Yes, of course it's the first thing that touches the tongue. It's the bread. But if it's boring bread, it's got no flavour. Look, Dario, what we want to do is tiny bit of salt on each side. Tiny bit. Look, it's going to go in them nooks and crevices. Little bit of pepper. Yeah? So you watch people, when they take this piece of bread now, it's been rubbed with garlic, it's been seasoned with salt and pepper. As soon as that goes on the tongue, I watch them all the time. People go, oh. Well, they don't stick the tongue out, I'm exaggerating that a bit, but they go, oh, something's different. This is not boring bread. This is fabulous bread. When it comes to serving this, Dario, we're going Greek. So what we like to do is take the shrimp. We've got the shrimp. This can be served hot or cold. Hot or cold. You can make it the night before and serve it the next day. So hot or cold. Some feta cheese. If you think about it, mate, we're going Greek with it. For those who say you shouldn't be serving feta cheese or any cheese with shrimp, go to another channel. Go somewhere else. Because I'm telling you now, this works. This is a beauty. Putting some feta cheese on top, around that creamy, salty feta cheese. A little bit more. Come on, Dario, come in here. A little bit more of that parsley. We'll even get the overhead camera in. A little bit more, that dill. And there you have, my friends, I would say, one of my favorite all-time shrimp dishes. This would go perfect over some spaghetti. Imagine some spaghetti mixed in there. Imagine some orzo with some tacos. You can get creative, but today with a piece of not so boring bread, just grab a piece of that bread, give yourself a treat. I'm not going to put a full shrimp in there because, oh, why not? Forget it. This is the part where you should tune out because, oh, look at that. Dario, just look at it. Come on, stop it. This should be illegal. Oh. 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 The shrimp is so plump, it's so juicy, it's full of flavour, it hasn't lost its character. The sauce is so rich, it's got a body like Marilyn Monroe. It's just that body that you admire, that body that you love. This, my friends, is a shrimp dish that you're gonna make in your kitchen. Thanks for tuning in this week, ladies and gentlemen. I truly appreciate it. Hey, Dario, thank you so much for filling in this week. Truly appreciate it.
Of course.
Just of course. Are you ready for a shrimp?
Oh, I'm ready for a shrimp.
Give us a yes with the camera. We look forward to seeing you next week. You can get the recipe down below, or you can visit my website, johnashton.com. Always remember, stay positive. It's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with it. Cheers.